$478. We're talking about wage and salary increases. So COLA means the cost of living adjustments.
Isn't that like what we did beforehand? Like,
It was budgeting.
your budget at the back, like with the budgeting, you know, you get more money.
Kind
you,
of.
You adjust it, if you lose money, you adjust
Well,
it.
COLA, well, this part of it would be like, a good thing, or a good example of this right now would be just what we're going through with like, all of the,
Being backward.
yeah, okay.
Ah,
So like, the cost of living right now, everything around us is going up. Gas, any kind of supplies, right?
so it's just like the prices are going up, so you have to adjust, okay?
In a sense, yes. So then as a company, they say that you should adjust to that. Okay? So that's what cost of living adjustments. So they call it COLA. Alright? So basically this is just saying it's a wage increase based on the CPI. Okay, the CPI again is Consumer Price Index. This is what they would base a lot of things upon. We already talked about that. Remember that green chart? Yeah, the inflation stuff with the green chart, we had to look at how it compared, certain categories compared, or we could do the overall thing. Remember that chart? Okay, so this basically is between like managers or management and then a labor union to say, how much are you going to, or how are you going to keep us on track with that inflation or whatever you're having to go through? Okay, so obviously it's frustrating when everything around you, the prices are going up, but your salary stays the same. Now you guys probably, your age people probably feel that the most because it's probably hard for you guys to get a, what am I gonna say?
Good raise.
Good job.
Pay raise, thank you.
I just got a raise.
Okay.
I make 13 now instead of 10.
All right, so that was a big one, right?
I didn't go
But
out a lot.
it's probably a really hard thing for
Gave you a raise.
your age people to go through this. So basically, they would have some kind of
Yeah.
agreement between management and the union that we're going to try to keep you and give you an increase, and it's usually a percentage. So COLA is a percentage of increase, okay? And then it's going to help with inflation and other things like that. So when you do this now, it could be annually, it could be semi-annually, it could be quarterly. Everybody okay with those words? Again, those are going to tell you how you're going to make that increase on yours. Do you get it right away in your paycheck form? Do you get it as a lump sum? Whatever it happens to be, okay? So the first part of it, they're just going to basically adjust your salary or adjust your pay rate, hourly pay rate, and then it'll show that effect into it. Now again, 3% for us probably isn't that big of a deal, right? But 3% to, manager's pay might be a huge thing. But again, in the blue collar part of it, notice in this one, you're talking about cents, 9 cents. But again, over time, 9 cents will accumulate quite a bit too. So we'll look at a couple things like that in just a little bit. Other ways that you can do this are bonuses, okay? So what's good about a bonus?
It's money for doing good.
Okay, so as you being the company holder again, or the company, the boss, the company in general, how would you give, or when would you give a bonus?
Christmas.
Christmas? What else?
Sales bonus.
Okay, what's that mean?
You make so many sales, you get that.
Good
Perfect.
reviews.
Okay, so you might have some kind of checklist, right? What else?
Sign on.
Sign-on bonus, right? Somebody, we talked about that the other day, right? It's a big thing right now, all across the United States even. But you see them all over the place now, right?
Recommendations.
What?
Recommended.
Okay, maybe a recommendation. Maybe it's just an incentive for if, again, each of you were managers and you had a group of 10 people under you. And so basically we treated it like a competition, right? You guys would each have a goal for yours that has to be hit, right? Which would say, let's say we're gonna make 100 of whatever. But if we get to that 100, anything over that, maybe we give a bonus. And then maybe it's per item that we make over that 100, or maybe it's the grand total. So Yas group at the end has 160, and he was the highest. So that group gets something.
That's what's going on right now at my job, like we're
Is
in
it?
first place, so we're all gonna get like an extra $50 in our paycheck.
Perfect, right? So that's just an incentive to make groups go faster or work a little harder. What's nice about bonuses, sometimes they're even not necessarily put onto your check so they don't get taxed, sometimes. But a lot of times these days, everything gets taxed, so. It could be a dollar amount, could be actual merchandise, right? So you could give it to, so if you're back in that sporting goods store, maybe bonus is whoever had the highest month got a new putter or something, you know? Whatever it happens to be, okay?
I could use a new putter.
Everybody could use a new putter, right?
I could use a new set of golf clubs, period.
Okay.
Carson can vouch for it.
The last thing in this section is, that they talk about is profit sharing. What's this mean to you? What's profit sharing?
Get a percent of the sale.
I don't need money.
Okay, so is everybody that works at your company a part of profit sharing?
Yes. Besides the big, no. Probably the bigger people.
The bigger people, probably, right?
Sure.
Okay, so when you think about or you hear like a commercial for Hy-Vee, one of their big things is that it's employee owned. So like if you're an actual employee, you're a part of the profit sharing. Well, in that case, that is probably decimals of a percent, right? Because they're not going to give, everybody that's an employee that big of a deal. So profit sharing would be, like you said, but this would, again, motivate people to do better or, find ways of increasing whatever their production is. So this is probably depending on a total profit. And basically it's just given out then as at the end of a certain period. So you could again do this at, the end of the first quarter, the end of the second quarter. You could do this just one time at the end of the year. They would see how much profit that you make. And then like Dylan ended up saying, it's probably the big wigs would end up getting that taken out and spread out by a percentage. Now, you could, if you're an individual homeowner, or not homeowner, business owner, you could do profit sharing to your employees. So like if you ran a restaurant and you own that restaurant, and then at the end of the year, you could do profit sharing to everybody that's there by just distributing whatever's left over, or at least a percentage of that. So obviously, if you're the business owner, you want to make a profit, but you also have to realize that you people working for me are the reason that I'm making that money, right? So I want to give back to you guys because I don't want you to leave. All right, so that's another way of showing profit sharing. Some companies, as you can see up here, they put it into just a pension plan. So once they get a profit sharing, you won't even get a check necessarily. They would just kind of put it into like a 401k program or an IRA that we've talked about and that kind of stuff. Till you retire or you leave the company. But then it's always accumulating some kind of interest anyway. All right. The good thing about profit sharing is this comment right here that they make. Employees would not have to share in the losses of the company. So if you were a part of this profit sharing and, during that pandemic year, we ended up not making ends meet. So our expenses outweighed what we brought in. Well, we don't have to. Then I wouldn't come to you guys and say, all right, you got to give back some money. It's always the company that takes that hit. Okay, so it's kind of a good thing for us, but in the long run, it kind of hurts us anyway. Okay, so let's go back and look at a couple examples, and that's kind of what we're talking about. But does everybody kind of understand what we're talking about? Or what the gist of it is? We're trying to keep our employees happy by keeping them up to date with everything else that's happening around us. Okay?
Okay, so if you have your small percentage in your business, like as an employee, can you sell that? Even though it's like the small percentage of it? Like the decimal percent? of your share, could you still sell that?
I suppose.
It'd be like, let's all start working at Hy-Vee and share.
But you're probably,
Sell.
in the end, you're probably selling off 12 cents.
That's
12
That's 12 cents.
12
dude.
cents close.
Well, I know, but you're gonna get that anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought it was like, could you sell that?
I don't think you're kind of grasping the whole situation.
Probably not.
Okay. So go back to page 479. Letter A. Omir earns $11.80 an hour. His employer gives him a COLA based on the 0.8% of the CPI rose last quarter. What amount of raise will Omar get? To the nearest cent, what will be his new hourly pay rate? Did you see Omar's name change from Omir to Omar? Huh? Anyway,
Well,
maybe that was just mine.
well,
So I'm going to do 1180 times what?
0.8%.
0.008, right? It's always got to be 2 decimal places. So how much increase do you get?
An increase of 9 cents.
9 cents. So then what is my new hourly wage? Wage, $11.89. So again, make sure that you move it 2 decimal places every single time. Everybody good with that?
Well, wait, so when you do that, you get 0.094?
No. 0.094. So you get 9 cents.
Plus 11.89? Okay.
Letter B, Marcia earned. So that was kind of the hourly wage. This next one would be when you are a salary worker. Okay, so this would be kind of an example of what we go through every year, meaning us teachers here. So we get a percent of a pay raise, okay? So Marcia earned a salary of $56,000 last year. Her employer gave her a COLA pay raise equal to the 4.8% increase. So again, basically the same concept, but remember to move it 2 places to the left. So we're taking it times 0.048, right? So how much increase did we get?
2,697.60.
And then we're gonna just add that back onto the original amount.
$58,897.60.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So again, 4.8% is probably a pretty good pay increase, right? That's a pretty good increase for us. Turn the page. Letter C. Althea received a bonus of 2% of total sales for being the top salesperson in her company. Her sales for the year were $850,000. What bonus did Althea receive? So again, we're just taking the bonus that they represent and multiply it by the grand total.
17,000.
17,000. But again, that'd be a nice kind of incentive, right? That's a nice deal. Letter D. The key to this one is right at the beginning. 4 team members received a bonus of $2,000.
There was some overlap at lunch today, so some of the students who ate a lunch may be late to 5th period, so please do not count them tardy. Thank you.
4 team members received a bonus of $2,000 each for finishing a project 2 months ahead of schedule. 12 support team members each received a $1,200 bonus. What total bonus did the employer pay?
2,000 times 4 plus 1,200 times 12.
Okay,
And then add them together.
then add them together. How much did you get? 22,400. Exactly right. Last one's about the profit sharing down E&F. A total of $13,500 profit is to be shared equally by a company's 18 purchasing and warehouse staff. What amount will each receive? $750. So again, when we say the profit margin, maybe it's just for one little one little category. It might not be your grand total at the end of the year, okay? Letter F, the management of company shared 20% of its $511,000 profit with its 65 employees. How much did each employee get? So the first thing I have to do is what? 0.2, and then do what? Then take that answer divided by 65. So each person gets $1,575.
Alright.
Woo! Make sense? So again, those are little things, again, if you ever become a business owner, those are little things that you probably wanna put into play here. That's not our bell. Remember, this is the last bell.
That's 20, isn't it?
Yep. So here are your problems. Again, this section, alright,
Can you stop it?